Introvert, quiet, unsure. These aren't qualities that are typically associated with a state officer. We look for leaders who are confident, personable, and outgoing. But all of these words could be used to describe Alexander Whalley. The Alex that I met 4 years ago was an introvert. He was unsure of himself, and he was quiet. Freshman Alex sat off by himself, rarely spoke, and when he did, he looked down at the floor. Looking back at old FFA pictures, Alex can clearly be seen standing away from the group. He thought he was an outsider, but there was potential buried down deep inside of him. Recognizing this potential, we found ways to get him involved. The summer after his freshman year, we invited him to our annual officer retreat. At this officer retreat, we had booked a team building challenge course. And to this day, Alex will still tell you about the 5-foot trust fall that he refused to do. Throughout his sophomore year, we started to see more growth and potential in Alex. He became more involved in the chapter. In fact, he competed in at least 4 different CDEs and LDEs that fall alone. Unfortunately, Alex, feeling a little burnt out, took a break that spring. But as the end of the year came approaching, we reached out to try and rekindle his fire that he once had. We talked him into running through our chapter nom-com that afternoon. The quiet, unsure Alex was named chapter vice president at our banquet later that week. I can still see the shock on his face. Excitedly, he ran up to me after the banquet to tell me that he was definitely ready for the officer retreat and that he was going to conquer the trust fall. I'm glad to say that he did that. As Alex entered his junior year, he was determined and focused and had some newfound confidence. He took a very active role in our chapter operations, training contest teams and motivating his peers to be better today than they were yesterday. As the year started winding down, Alex approached us about running for area or state office, simply because it would reflect well on our chapter. In the last 4 years, Alex has grown so much. He has become a true leader, a mentor, and an advocate for Ag and FFA. He has become a confident, passionate, and personable young man. He no longer shies away from pictures, and he stands tall when he enters into a room. See, in the last 4 years, Alex has embodied the living to serve spirit in his interactions with his peers. He has done everything in his power to push those around him towards their greatness, myself included. He has unknowingly pushed me to become a better Ag teacher and FFA advisor. And in the words of John F. Kennedy, a rising tide will lift all boats. As Alex has grown into the leader you see today, he has done just that. I am proud to have witnessed the growth he has underwent in his time in FFA, and it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you, for his retiring address, State Sentinel Alexander Whalley.
A little under 4 years. That's how long it took me to get to this point in front of you all. Let's take a look back at my book in FFA, before the state office, before I was president and vice president of my home chapter. Who was I? Who was Alexander Whalley? Surprisingly enough, I actually have an answer for you guys. Now here's a little bit of background information. Picture you walk in to your computer class, freshman year, you get inside, and you're met with your teacher, handing a sticky note to each and every single one of his students. And on this sticky note, you're given the very simple 3 instructions. Tell me a few interesting things about yourself. Who's your role model? What is your favorite color? Now, I don't know about you guys, but freshman me, 0 confidence, 0 at all. And so I quite vividly remember what I wrote on that sticky note. I wrote, I'm not that interesting of a person at all. In fact, outside of playing video games and hanging out with friends, I don't do much in my free time. And I don't even think I have a real role model. But I guess I would say my grandfather. Now, if you couldn't tell while listening to that, freshman me had an absolutely crazy amount of zero confidence. I was just stumbling over my words when I spoke, couldn't look up at people when talking. You still see a little bit of it in me right now as I look at the floor while giving this retiring address. But now, boy, oh boy, I will talk to you about each and any topic that I'm interested in, and anything at all. And it all started with a great friend of mine, Walker Badon. Now, Walker was a character, to say the least. This man was an enthusiastic individual. But he was also good at everything that he tried. Forestry, agronomy, parliamentary procedure, extemporaneous speaking, and the list continues to go on and on and on and on and on. And to a freshman, that was inspiring. But the most inspiring part about Walker was his character. His character is what inspired me. Character is that part of you that you share with others, that part that after you leave still lingers into your chapter. Now, I won't lie to you. After Walker left, it had seemed the only thing that he had managed to leave behind was his banners and his pendants and his certificates from his competitions. Little did I know he had left a little part of his character in me, a little part of his character inside of my chapter. And I won't lie to you and say that I tried to replace him after he left, because I didn't. I didn't want to be Walker Badon. I wanted to be Alexander Whalley. I wanted to be myself. I wanted to leave my own mark on my chapter, write my own character, write my own legacy. And when I realized this, I started to notice that after all of Walker's wins, he still did indeed fail. Whether that be learning to treat his teammates with respect or advancing in those competitions that he had won in to an even further level, he failed. And it taught me one valuable lesson, that if someone as successful as Walker could fail and still build a great character, why couldn't I? Why couldn't I fail and still be successful? Now let me tell you, after my 4 years in FFA, I began to look back and I realized that I don't have anything to leave my chapter outside of my character. And I'm scared. I'm terrified. I feel like curling up into a ball and crying because outside of my character, I feel like I should leave more. I feel like there should be more of me to leave behind. What if I didn't do enough to inspire people? What if my character isn't enough for my chapter? What if I failed to leave anything at all to my chapter? All of these thoughts just hitting me and hitting me and hitting me throughout my senior year. And then I come towards the end, and it just silence. And it hits me in my face. Walker's character was good enough for me. Why couldn't my character be good enough of a legacy for others? See, legacy is that faith and hope you give people, that push that makes them move forward after you leave. My journey in this organization is ending, and my time in this organization is coming to an end. And so I think back to one question my advisor asked me a year ago before I ran for state office. If you were to hang up your jacket for the final time, could you, with all of your power, tell me that you've done everything you have ever wanted to do in this organization? My answer back then was no, and I couldn't tell you why or how, but throughout this entire jam-packed year of activities and meeting people and hearing people and seeing stories, my answer now is yes. I can hang up this jacket right now and say that I'm proud to leave. And it took many, 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 many failures to get there. My book is filled with so many different failures, whether that be being the sole cause of a parliamentary procedure team that qualified for state the previous year to fail at the parish level the very next year, or missing out on the opportunity to compete at the national level for land judging because I told my teacher I don't think I'm confident enough to be on that gold team, or narrowly scraping by on hitting that submit button for my state office application. And the story that both exemplifies my failure and ends in just a small amount of success, just like my advisor mentioned, was the trust fall story. Now, I don't know about you guys, but picture this height of a platform, about 5 feet off the ground. You turn around, you stick out your arms, cross them, pull them in, and you're supposed to fall back. I can't. I couldn't do it my freshman year. I was terrified. I still remember the steps of those creaky metal stairs, walking them up, and I get to the edge, and I stick out my arms, I cross them, I pull it in, and I slowly walk back to the edge, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I can't fall back. I had failed one of the most basic exercises, the trust fall. Now fast forward a year later, I was ready. We went through all the team building exercises. This right here is a 10-foot wall that we had to climb as a team to get there. It's kind of an intimidating thing, but I remember running to my advisor right before we did that. I will do the trust fall. Running to him a completely separate time while we're walking on logs as a team together. I will do the trust fall. Running to him one more final time. I will do the trust fall, with so much conviction, so much power in my voice. And I remember the feeling of walking up those stairs. My heart is racing. It's pounding in my chest repeatedly, over and over and over again. But this time, instead of anxiety, it's excitement. And so as I stick up my arms and I cross them, pull them in, walk to the edge, breathe in for a final time, close my eyes, I fall back. I trustingly fall back into the arms of my teammates. I was so happy. I was so excited. These stories mean so much to me simply because they mark the points in my journey in FFA that built my character. Learning to trust yourself, learning when to trust others, learning when to get back up after you fall flat on your face and embarrass not just yourself, but your team, your chapter. As I close my book for the very, very last time in this organization, I hope that someone else picks it up. I'm praying, I'm wishing someone else picks it up, just like I did. Someone that can write their own legacy based off of their own character, just like I did. Someone that leaves a part of themselves to freshmen, incoming members in the early years of high school in their journey in FFA. Leaves a part of themselves so their chapter has the tools to move on, the tools to grow and accomplish things. And I take that sticky note that I wrote my freshman year and I rewrite it completely differently from how I originally wrote it. I, Alexander Whalley, am a very, very interesting person. My hobbies consist of going to the gym, hanging out with friends, still playing video games. But I also build Lego sets. One of my favorite Lego sets as a kid was building Lego Chima. It was so exciting. My favorite color is green. My favorite food is sushi. My real role model is my mother, the woman who has cared for me my entire life. One of the most selfless and wise individuals I have ever met. And as I put my pencil down for the final time, I challenge you all to find the meaning of your character. Louisiana FFA, what legacy do you wish to leave?
Sooner or later it's over. I just don't want to miss you tonight. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And you can't fight the tears that ain't coming, all the moment of truth in your lies. When everything feels like the movies, yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
Alex, oh, Alex, whether it's your awkward smiles or your even more awkward side eye, we always know we have someone to clean up our leftovers if we absolutely need it. He's practically a human garbage disposal. I can honestly say that I'm so proud to watch who you became as a state officer. And I can say on behalf of all the team that we are so proud to have you in our FFA family. Louisiana FFA, for the final time, your 2023-2024 Louisiana FFA State Sentinel, Alexander Whalley.